Let's make a new sign and I'll take you through all the different steps, mark out what the text is going to say, paint that all on, distress it back and then age it and try and make it look rusty like it's 50, 60 years old. Should we see if this works? Hi, I'm Dom, and welcome to my workshop. Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Thank you so much for joining me. Glad to have you with me in the workshop. I've got a few too many gaps on the walls in the workshop. I love my little old Lipton sign and there's a few old enamel looking signs dotted around. Let's make a new sign and I'll take you through all the different steps from starting with a bare sheet of aluminium. I quite fancy making this sign look old and rusty. A few of my old signs, like this Firestone one up on the wall here, all rusty looking, but actually it's not. It's just a paint effect. This is kind of going back to my set design days when I used to make props and distress and make walls look old and things like that. So we'll build up the shape, mark out what the text is going to say, paint that all on, distress it back, and then age it and try and make it look rusty like it's 50, 60 years old. I've been inspired by this side engine cover from my BSA. This nice oval shape. I'm not going to do it this teardrop shape, but I thought I'd just do a nice oval. It's quite big, but this is a flat sheet of aluminium. Next thing to do is cut that out. This is basically a guillotine, so I'm just going to rough cut this. It will only do straight cuts. I'll just be able to sort of munch it round and just roughly cut it to shape. Close enough. I'm a bit out of breath now after that. So the guillotine has sort of got the rough shape, but it's quite jagged still. So I'm going to use these, which are called tin snips. They're like industrial scissors for cutting sheet metal. These are straight ones, so they will cut a straight line. You can get left curved ones and right curved ones. Of course, I've left my other two at the repair shop and I've only got my straight ones, but it's all I've got, so it's going to work. My oval cut out, filed and sanded the edge so it's not too sharp. It's looking good. The next step is going to be using the wheeling machine, and this is my new one. This will be the first time I've actually ever used it, to try and just get a bit of shape. Now I don't want this to be huge, like I'm not looking to make a big huge dome. This is perfectly flat at the moment. I just want to try and get a nice kind of soft just a little bit of shape in it, just to give it a little bit of detail, because the text, I think whatever I write on the front here, I'm going to do it in a sort of bulged up looking font, so it will exaggerate the amount of actual shape that I put in it. So I really don't want too much, I just want a nice little gradual shape. Most of that shape is going to come in the middle. I need that bit to come up, so I'm going to spend more time in the middle, see how it goes. Wish me luck. Well, I hope you didn't find that too boring. Well, it's a time lapse, come on, it didn't take that long. Oh, that's probably about 2 hours of sitting there doing that on the wheeling machine. It's brilliant. I love this thing. It's done well. So already in a couple of hours, look what I've made. It still needs a bit more work. It's not finished. See this gap around the bottom there? It's not quite flat, but I've got my bulgy sign that I wanted. Look at that. Again, this side, I need to do a little bit more work to get it nice and flat. But look, I mean, it's not bad, is it? There's a long way to go to get that perfect, but I'm gonna have some lunch, have a breather, come back and get that all nice and smoothed out, then it'll be ready for paint. I know I'm going to end up screwing this sign to the wall. So now is the time to think about screw holes. Again, another mistake I made when making this Firestone sign. I didn't think about screw holes and I just had to drill them through at the end, and it never goes well. Because I've got this nice curved shape, I want these screw heads to be nice and flush with the surface, so I need a countersunk hole. If I just drill a hole straight in the surface, it will sit like that. When I stick a screw in, it's going to sit above the surface. So what I want is that, nice and smoothly recessed down. When I sit the screw in there, once it's all done up, it sits nice and flush with the surface. Really simple way I did this was, got this piece of dowel, this piece of oak. It can be anything. This is round, which is quite nice because of, again, I've got my curved surface. If you're doing it on a flat surface, you can just use a block of wood, anything. So I've drilled a hole in the end, rounded off the corners so I don't get any of the marks coming through. Drilled a hole there and then countersunk quite badly, I might add. The only drill bit I had was this beast, which is definitely not the right one, but it just gives me that sort of negative space of an angle around there. Then I got a fat screw, 6mm screw that's countersunk, and ground off all of the threads because I don't actually want the hole in the metal to be 6mm because it's massive, but I did want the big countersunk. So I ground down all of the threads so that will pass, so the shaft can pass through the aluminium. Put the end of the shaft in the hole there and hit it with a hammer. Bingo! Giving it a quick sand just to key the surface. This is aluminium, so you should really use a primer that is suitable for aluminium. It needs to have like an etch, almost like an acid in it. It just helps to stick. Aluminium can be quite a tricky surface to paint, so just make sure you've got the right primer. Make sure, check on the back of the tin, see it's suitable for aluminium. All right, I think that'll do. That looks all right. My final coat of paint is nice and dry. Sorry I didn't film it, but it's now this lovely blue colour. The primer dried, I got a coat of paint on, and then on the Sunday before the repair shop, I got a second top coat of paint. This lovely robin egg, nice pale blue. So the sign is now ready to draw the text on and then paint the text. Sitting down, I've got my sign screwed to the piece of wood, set on the bench. I'm here, ready to go. And then I've just realised I've left my mile stick at the repair shop. This is a stick basically that you use to lean on. So you rest it on the actual wall, and then the hand that you're holding the brush with, you rest on that. Essential piece of equipment. So I've had to improvise a piece of aluminium rod with some heat shrink on the bottom for grip, an old piece of leather, and all I could really find was a Jubilee clip to hold it. That soft leather will sit on there, be a little bit grippy. Just keep me steady. So I've got no excuse for some wobbly lines. I have never pretended to be a proper sign writer. I don't do it all day, every day, so I'm definitely not a professional at this. Yes, there's lots of imperfections, and maybe my technique is not quite as quick and professional as someone that does it all day, every day, but hey, I'm pretty happy. I like the colours. That's the most important thing. That does need to dry, and then I'll put a second coat over it because it's quite translucent. Once it's all dry, the next step is going to be to distress it. That's the good bit. So I've got a couple of references here of old signs that I've got in the workshop that I've gathered from various places. These are old original enamel signs, and so I know I've painted this sign, but I'm kind of recreating and trying to recreate an enamel sign. And it's always good to have an accurate reference, I suppose. So this is an enamel sign. You can see it's almost like a thick layer. Well, it is a thick layer on top. So the paint, it's not actually paint, it's actually just a type of glass. But the colour doesn't really fade so much. It doesn't wear out like paint. You just get, this is obviously where it's been shot. I love these big chunks that are missing. It's revealed the steel underneath, which has then gone rusty over time. Around every single screw hole where it's been mounted, it's all chipped off. It's inevitable, really. Look, every single one. That's a good one. If we come over here, this Lipton sign is original as well. This is enamel as well, and it's just really rusty, and that's what I want to try and recreate on this sign. See how it's literally chunks missing all the way along and been nibbled. It's bent up and chipped and scratched and rotten, and there's all these little dings that have turned into rust. That is what I'm going to try and recreate on my Motorworks sign. Slightly anxious because I don't want to ruin it after all this work. But I want that jagged edge. That's the most important thing that the kind of vision I've got in my head of this sign. All I'm going to do is I've got a cutting disc on there, and I'm just going to sort of nibble away at the edge and see, well, we'll see how it goes if I turn the power on. Oh God. Oh great, my camera is now completely covered in aluminium dust. This is going to take a while. You know the process. I'm going to nibble around the edge with my angle grinder, and then I'll come in at the end and file it with some files just by hand, just to tidy it all up. This will be the next hour or so of my life. Okay, I've got a bit carried away, sorry. I've had to stop myself. Oh no, I'm supposed to be filming this. I've jumped ahead a tiny bit, but not too much, honestly. All I'm doing is using a tiny brush and various other tools like a manky old rag, bit of tissue, some builder's wipes, little sponge roller, a high pile roller, literally whatever I could find in the workshop, just to make different textures. And I'm just using some pigments and a lacquer, and that is really all I'm using, just to sort of smear and flick and paint all over the surface of the sign. I picked the pigments that are kind of rusty coloured looking, metal coloured, and I'm just a case of spending some time sitting there painting them in ever so finely, and it's looking good. I'm really quite pleased. I've sort of done a bit of the motor side. Nothing too drastic, but hopefully enough to just sort of knock it back a little bit and make it look a bit older. So I'm just going to sit here for a few more hours and see if I can get this thing finished. These jagged edges that I cut with the angle grinder, I'm just painting them in brown with my rusty brown pigment and just sort of extending it up a touch. I'm just trying to think what would happen in real life. Luckily I've got lots of rusty things around me to compare it to, Just looking like, if this had completely rotten away, the rust would no doubt have crept up here a bit further. And then no doubt if it's that rusty, there's probably going to be some little bits that have crept underneath the enamel and shot up there. It's looking good, but it's looking a bit smooth. Should we see if this works? That's given me some natural scratches and marks that inevitably, if the enamel had been taken off by something hitting it, the metal underneath would go rusty. So I'm probably going to go in now, and where the brown paint has been removed from the text, I'll colour it in the dark brown rusty colour, try and make it look like all those little dings and nicks have gone rusty. I think it worked well. That was worth doing. You might think I'm mad, but I think it's worked. Seems completely counterproductive, spending hours and hours trying to get it perfectly smooth, and then the next day throwing my hammer and dollies at it and everything, but it was worth it. It's finished. Have a look. The big piece of metal I was throwing at it chipped the brown off but left the blue, so I've coloured in the middle there, rusty. It looks, I think they look really good. They look really realistic. They're probably my favourite bits. And they are these little dents, look. All these little bits. There's all this stuff would happen over time. I'm really happy with that. It's taken a long time. I've got a gap below my Lipton sign. I think this is going to fit perfectly. These are the best wall plugs, actually, by the way. These are the best. I really like these ones. Wouldn't be right to screw it on the wall without some old screws, would it? Chance have I got of finding 4 slotted, oh, there's one. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Well, there we go. Done. Look at that. I'm so pleased. I really hope you've learned something from this video. Thank you so much for watching. Join me next time. There'll be lots more things coming. Please make sure you've subscribed, give me a thumbs up, and leave me a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.